Hello everyone, my name is Moses and you are welcome to Stable Rock Farms. In today's episode we are going to look at the different methods of sourcing for your feeds for your livestock, for your poultry, for your fishery, etc. Are you a livestock farmer or are you intending to be one? One of the major headaches for you is sourcing for their feeds. It accounts for what, 60, 70 or even 80% of the cost of maintaining your livestock. You will need to feed them well for them to be able to give you value. So that's the major issue many people have. So when the feed becomes very expensive, what then do? You are in this to gain value, to get profit, right? When you are spending too much money on the feed, you end up not getting value for your business. So that is what we're discussing here. As a farm, as Stable Rock Farms, how do we source for feeds to be able to cut down on our cost of production for our livestock? So let's get right into it and follow me in there. So I'm just going to start by saying you have to spend money to be able to make money. So there are just no two ways about it. If you are a small farmer and you are just going to take care of maybe one or two goats, then that's fine. You can figure your way around it. But if you want to have your livestock, your poultry, your fishery, etc. on a huge platform, on a massive scale, then a lot of investment has to go in there, and that's what we did. So if you look in here, you'll notice that we have four major machines that create value for us on this farm. Now let's start with this. So this machine is not meant for the farm use. It's meant for general use of clients outside. So what do I mean by that? This machine basically grinds produce. So if you look here, this is a client's produce that has been ground to a flour, a powdered form. Now this, I believe, is cassava. Now the customer brought this and it has been processed for them. We have been paid for it. Now, why do I have this here? We have this machine here to be able to complement the other machines. That's one. Two, some of the byproducts from this machine can also be used as feed for our livestock. So we're killing two birds with one stone, right? You are getting paid for the service you're providing the community, and then some of the byproducts from that service that you are providing to others, you use as feed for your livestock. Now, it will make more sense as I keep on explaining all about all the other machines. Now, let's look at our second machine. Here. Now, this machine basically blends produce, most especially rice and maize. So what do I mean by that? If you look here, you'll notice these are leftover rice. So this was previously paddy rice. So if you know what paddy rice is the rice that you harvest from your farm with its peel and everything on it, right? So how do you peel that rice to get this fine grain that you eat? This type of machine does that for you. Now, of what advantage is this to us as a farm, as livestock, as a Stable Rock Farm? One, again, just like the first machine, we get paid for this service. So clients bring their paddy rice or they bring their maize and we peel the back for them and they pay us for it. So it's an added source of income for us. But that's not the main reason why we have this machine here. The major reason we have this machine here is this. Now, this is rice bran. For those who are experienced livestock farmers, you will know that this is a very important ingredient for your livestock feed. So this is why we have this machine here. So while clients bring their produce and we provide a paid service, we gain much more from what's left. If you watched my previous video on cheap ways to get alternative feeds for your livestock, I'll leave a link somewhere in here. You'll notice that rice bran and maize bran are a very key part of that, of those ingredients. Now, this is how we get both our rice bran and our maize bran. It's a lifesaver for us on the farm. In a day, you get maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 bags of bran, and that is a very good alternative feed for your livestock. You are saving money by getting that. Other farmers, who I'm sure many of you who watch this video here, you actually need to go out there and purchase bran to come and feed your livestock. But we don't have to do that. All that is provided for us here on the farm at a free cost for us, by the way. We don't spend any money to get that. So it's very, very helpful to us. Now let's move on to our third machine. This machine here is what we use to grind our livestock feed. So what do I mean by that? You have chicken, you have cattle, you have goats, you have sheep, you have fish, etc. You know that all of these different animals have different requirements on how their feed is to be blended or to be crushed or to be ground. This machine does that. So all you need to do is adjust this. So let's say, for example, we want to do poultry feed for our broilers. You adjust it to the required adjustment for chicken feed, and then you grind that feed, you blend that feed, and then you're good to go. So depending on what animal, if it's cattle, you know how to adjust it, and then you blend it. So how useful is this for us? It's useful because we don't have to go and purchase, the ready-made livestock feed out there that is expensive. We produce our own feed, and this machine is very key to making that happen, right? Now let's go on to our fourth machine here on the farm. This. Now what is this? This is a shaft cutter. What does a shaft cutter do? A shaft cutter basically cuts everything into powdered form or into blended form, right? Now, let me use this maize cobs as an example. Do you know that this is an alternative source of feed for your livestock? However, your animals are not just going to eat this as is. It needs to be chopped into smaller pieces before it's administered to your livestock, to your animals, to your poultry, whatever the case may be. So what this machine does is you put it in there and it comes out in powdered form or in blended form or in bits and pieces. And it can be anything. It can be maize cob, it can be hay, as you see over there. It can be maize stems, it can be grass, it can be, in fact, it can be a log of wood, and this machine is that strong. It will blend it into your desired texture for you to feed your animals. So again, you can see how key this machine is to us on the farm. All you need to do is just put on its generator and you power it up, and then it's good to go. Now, I'm sure you're beginning to see the different aspects in which all of these machines can be of value to us on the farm. These machines are key to us saving cost. Now, once you save cost, you gain more profit, right? So again, now you are beginning to see, I'm sure if you have watched my previous videos, you are beginning to see why we're heavy on crop farming also, right? Because not only do we enjoy our produce from the crops, but all the other attaching aspects of the crop are source of feed for us. As I use an example, a maize cob is a source of feed. The maize stem on which the maize grows on is a source of feed for us. When you harvest your groundnuts, the leaf is a major source of feed, you know. So you begin to see that almost every thing we harvest from our farm is not wasted. We don't only use the crop, we use other parts of it also. Now let's move on to our next machine. Oh, by the way, as I was talking about earlier, you can see this is the leaf from your groundnuts. So once you harvest your groundnuts, the leaf on which the groundnut was growing, it's a very rich source of feed for your animals. So there we go. Then let's move on to our next machine. What you see here is a mixer, right? So this machine mixes. This machine, once it's powered on, mixes your livestock feed. Now, why is this important to us on this farm? By the time you have hundreds or thousands of different types of livestock, you begin to imagine that producing their feed alone is a Herculean task, right? You need some sort of automated system that helps you, aids you in mixing their feed fast. So once you get byproducts from this machine that I showed you earlier, and then once you get byproducts from that machine that I showed you earlier, the second one, then once you blend the crop or your maize or your rice or your groundnut or whatever the case may be from this third machine, and then once you blend all the other associating types of ingredients, you then put it in here, and then it mixes it. In 5 minutes, you have mixed your feed, and then you put it in sacks, you take it to your livestock, and you feed them. This, maybe I'll probably put up a link here for one of our videos in which we showed how our feed was being mixed. You could see how much of a huge task that was. That was before we had this machine. But now that we have this, we don't have to do that anymore. We just put it in here, and then it mixes it, and then we're good to go. Now, there are, maybe I'll show you one more machine before we do a little discussion. So let's go. That one is situated in a different location on our farm. So let's go. So this is our livestock farm, and it's an unused portion of our livestock farm. So we decided to plant some cassava. It goes all the way. There's still some portion of the land that you cannot see where the cassava has been planted. As many of you know, cassava is also a very good source of feed for your livestock, from the peels to the cassava itself. You know about the cassava stems being a very good source of income because you can cut it and sell to other farmers who want to plant. And then you know about the cassava tubers themselves being, very good source of food for even humans, with the different types of meals that can be made from the cassava. So, yeah, we also planted some rice, as you can see here. You can see some plantains. You can see some moringa trees all the way where the fence is. You also know how very key moringa is to livestock feeding. It's in fact, it's one of the richest feeds for your animals. Anyway, back to our machine. So there's one more machine that I wanted to touch on before we do a little discussion, and that's this machine that's behind me here. So just come closer so I can show you. So they're working there, and the sound would disrupt us, and that's why I wanted us to come here so that we can have a little discussion. Now, that machine, as you can see, it helps with peeling of our groundnuts, right? Now, as I'm sure you know from our previous video, groundnut is one of our crops that we plant on our farm. So again, this machine helps us in creating value in about 3 or 4 different ways. Other farmers who have their own groundnuts come here to peel their groundnuts, and they pay us. It's a paid service, so we get an added sort of income there. Our own groundnuts from our farm, we peel it here. We don't need to go somewhere else to peel it, so again, there's more value for us. And then the third advantage for us is the husk, right? So what am I talking about? The husk is the waste, the back, the groundnut hull. Once you break open your groundnuts, the kernels inside are the seeds, right? Now the back that was covering the seeds are the husk, the ground. So there are a number of advantages to having this groundnut husk. One, it's used for mulching. Those of you who are crop farmers, you know that mulching is a very important part of farming. And then the other advantage is that the shaft cutter I showed you earlier in that building, I showed you a shaft cutter in which you can put different types of produce and byproducts and etc, and it blends it. Now your groundnuts, you can also put your groundnut husk in there and it will blend it. And when this is happening, there will be some kernels in the husk, and you can blend it, and it also becomes an alternative source of feed. Now, once you blend all of these byproducts and you know all the percentage of protein, carbohydrates, and etc that are in there, you do your calculation. You will then know how much of each of these products and byproducts to put into your feed to give your animals. So these are, you can come this way. These are a few ways in which we save cost on our farm. Now, once you are able to do this, after a few months, you begin to see that there's more value for you as a livestock farmer, because you are spending less on your feed. So you can drop some comments here to if you have noticed anything that you feel we should do differently. We're all here to learn. We would definitely love to learn from you if you have another method. If you have any questions, you can also ask, as we like to interact and we learn on the job every day. Once we interact more with people, we also get to learn more. Basically, that's everything we have for you on how you can supplement your feed and reduce your cost of maintenance for your farm. So subscribe so that you can get more videos like this, and we thank you for watching. Thank you.